Where there's legislative session, there's probably going to be controversy, and several proposed ideas have surfaced already in Bismarck. At the top are bills that deal with public health and limiting the governor's power. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard explains.
The 2021 legislative session may be the most accessible ever. There are more opportunities to participate online.
House legislature bills range from how elections should be handled in a time of crisis, forms including American as a race, citizens being able to sue social media companies if they're canceled, and banning transgender student athletes from high school sports.
There's quite a variety of bills this session, and probably a larger variety of different topics than maybe we've seen before.
State Representative Ben Koppelman of West Fargo has introduced a bill that restricts the use of city or county zoning laws on how people can possess weapons during an emergency for protection, further reinforcing their Second Amendment right.
The second issue dealing with local cities stemmed from the city of Fargo believing that they could supersede that existing law that banned them from having an ordinance.
First, and probably the biggest, is House Bill 1275, which is related to a proposal for the legacy fund earnings, and it invests in infrastructure, it invests in education, it invests in paid family leave programs.
Democratic Party Chair Kylie Overson says another important bill requires self-insurance plans in the state to cover prescription drugs that are imported from Canada. She says she hopes North Dakotans are paying attention and staying engaged with the legislative session and reaching out to legislatures. In the Red River Valley, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
Now 5 p.m. this afternoon was the deadline for submitting House bills. The Senate deadline is next Monday at 5 p.m.
The North Dakota Senate has passed a bill that brings the state's smoking age to 21. Recently, the federal smoking age was raised to 21, which led to many states having conflicting ages. The bill passed, but not without opposition. Those who opposed it said 18-year-olds already have voting and other rights. But supporters say there's a possibility North Dakota could lose federal funds for behavioral health programs if the state didn't raise the age.
We all know that if a high school student gets caught using tobacco products, they are suspended from all extracurricular activities for 6 weeks, and a second offense, they are suspended for the entire year. It seems we ought to recognize what our schools have recognized for some time and change our law accordingly.
Lawmakers said they hope this bill will bring both smoking and vaping rates down among teenagers.
A proposed bill could lower the penalties for underage drinking in North Dakota. Currently, anyone under 21 who drinks and possesses alcohol could be charged and face a $1,500 fine and spend up to 30 days in jail. The proposed legislation would lower the maximum fine to $1,000 and no possibility of jail time. Supporters of the legislation say it gives judges more leeway in dealing with the vaccine. There will be 9 locations in Minnesota that'll serve as a COVID-19 vaccine pilot site, including one in Fergus Falls and one in Thief River Falls. The pilot sites will initially serve people ages 65 and up, pre-K through 12th grade teachers, along with school staff. It'll also serve staff working at licensed and certified child care programs. There will be a small number of doses available for eligible Minnesotans. You can set an appointment starting tomorrow by calling 612-426-7230, or you can find a link on our website at valleynewslive.com.
Several local colleges hosted online events to commemorate the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. North Dakota State University, Concordia College, and Minnesota State University Moorhead were among those that provided online events for this day. There were readings at NDSU, including Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech and others, also his letter from Birmingham jail. Concordia College provided panel discussions with keynote speakers, and at the MSUM campus, diversity officer Jared Pidgeon discussed the importance of this day.
Civil rights movement, we think about the Civil War, and we understand that the Civil War did abolish slavery. However, it did not end discrimination and prejudice towards blacks and other marginalized groups. So give an example, up till 1957, schools were segregated by race. Blacks had to drink from different water fountains than whites. Oftentimes, African Americans could perform in concert venues, but they would have to come in through the back door, and they could not even stay at those same venues.
Pigeon also urges us to remember the importance that women of color have in today's world.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, security remains extra tight as precautions continue for the presidential inauguration.
And in addition to a couple chances for snow over the next week, temperatures will be a roller coaster into the 30s, near 40 degrees as we head into Wednesday, and then taking the plunge back into the single digits. Of your 7-day planner coming up right after the break.